Hello everyone. Um, Here I am about to talk about the soul, about who we are, like who by individual who I am, or by yourself. So why I'm recently talk about that really important to know that me more than else. The me is the world pretty much. Whatever that I think is the world it's just me. So the me, I mean, like you, is the person who is the one, see the world or understand by ourselves. So how, first of all, like why I'm speaking English, yes, some of the people in my community sort of will think, okay, why speaking English? Because English is a common language. Like everybody will benefit, like everybody understand. That would be benefited. So the myself is the very important thing to be understand and to be understand clearly. If the Lord Buddha, why I'm talking to Buddha is that's the one of the leader, what I understood, one of the philosophy what I understood, bring out to the world as something very, very remarkable. So what out of his teaching, there is existing true teaching, original teaching still existing with the Pali language, and the translation in English as well, and numerous other languages. So, and across the many countries, many millions, trillions of people are benefited. So that techniques, some techniques we can really use for modern day people more about to their own benefit, like say the economic growth or wealth, let's say wealth, and also the more than that, it's like about their spiritual or the self-development, so mental happiness. So the happiness is the wealth actually that we really need, right? So everybody try to achieve the happiness, that's wealth, through the material things as well. So the number one thing what I try to understand, and what I try to emphasize, I'm not a teacher, that's another thing I want to explain, tell you. But I try to bring the awareness, because I've seen some of the people not really understanding who am I, or who are you, personally, yourself. That leading into numerous things by ourselves. So even perhaps by myself, sometimes getting cut off. Even I noticed some of the great scholar meditation monks or spiritually the monks also certainly time to time not able to get cut off, but that will be a short time period, and they will backing up. They're backing up to, because of they had the intense practices and understanding of dharma and spiritual thing and spiritual core things, and through the practices, then developing the faculties, developing the that inner peace and happiness is existing with them. But there is a possibility they also drip out for a certain short time period. So those who haven't actually practiced, or those who haven't understanding, first thing is like intellectually, when somebody listen to a talk, there are lots of great scholar teachers, spiritual leaders from different regions teaching that, explaining it, and then you might able to already focus on those things. So this is a kind of giving like a highlight sort of, and try to understand, try to explain as by myself a little bit. to somebody to benefit it. And to myself is even by spending this time. It's a quality time, what I think. So, yes, let me try to, emphasize again about the soul. The soul, what I understand by the reading and some practices since time to time. The practices comes to me time to time. I don't know, somehow, even I'm not really trying to practice, but that just comes time to time to me, and that can give me lots of benefits. So the soul itself is built up by myself because of the ignorance, and then not knowing the reality, the truth, and then not knowing mean literally not realizing and not getting into the true nature of the emptiness, or we call in Pali language or nirvana. So the soul is existing because of we are attaching or craving or keep continuing, or according to Buddhist philosophy, we are existing. The soul is existing from life to life. There's no real death, actually. The death is a conventional thing, but the soul is existing literally forever in different form. I mean, soul is the same soul, but the bodily formation, what you see physically, it might be changed time to time. I mean, from one life to another life, but soul is existing. Why is the soul existing? Again, because of we want to keep it. Nobody want to, literally, if you talk to honestly by yourself, nobody want to give up easily. Your soul, or my soul, anybody's soul. So it's existing, it's keep going, it's keep going. Do we need to keep going? That's a question for individual, right? That's their vision or ambition. So if the soul is existing, and then soul is primarily is a thought process. The continuously, and there's no time period we can say one thought, from one thought to another next thought. It will be like a millisecond or a fraction of time for each and every thought. So it's like you can think about a pulse train or signal train, or when it's raining, it's each and every drop of the water drops, right? So like that. So okay, let me again emphasize like why I'm speaking English, because that will be benefited for most of the people. That's the reason I'm speaking English. So well, back to the topic, like the brain is, the soul is like primarily is a thought process. It's consistently from the wake up from morning to the sleep, the thing is keep going, process keep going. So our soul is, our mind is literally completely, I mean, consistently seconds is the thought process. So are we patient enough to keep attention to this certainly thought while we drive or while we're doing some other work as much as possible? So if we can focus on this thought, that is called mindfulness. So the venerable monk Panakara, who was finish up 109-day walk from Texas to here means Washington DC, was really emphasized each and every talk. So why we need to mindfully focusing on each and every breath or the heartbeat, and understanding he tried to emphasize more in the peace, but actually he's bringing the real message is like about our soul, like how we existing each and from breath to breath, we keep continuing and then he tried to bring the peace, because the peace is the most important part, but it's the one aspect of noticing our breath, and then understanding from each and breath to breath, realizing our mind, how the monkey mind, literally he was using that word, yes, that's true. The monkey mind is moving from one thing to another, one thing to another, so, and causing multiple, many issues, but I mean, starting from haterism, anger, but sometimes by ourselves or to somebody else. So that harming, number one, by himself, herself, and to the other people too. So then he tried to bring the peace by noticing, by understanding the thought process. Yeah, just before I also listened to his talk at Washington University, that final conclusion, but with amazing meditation, I think about 45 to 30 minutes. So anyway, so back to the topic, why we need to understand our soul. That benefited for, even if you are thinking about the wealth development for your physical wealth accumulation, well, also spiritually development as well, for both sides. Because as much as if we are understanding the process, thought process, and then we have a better control about focusing on our the work or project or the thing or the thing what we're going to tell to people also. So these all benefited. And then also especially when you in an intense situation with anger, and then disagreement with somebody, that disagreement is causing some of the people cannot cope up. So maybe ending up with jail or some other consequences, or the broken up relationship, broken up friendships. So one of the aspects of the soul is that soul is thinking like I is so big for some people, so big, and then they think their ideology, their concepts is the right thing, no matter what. Some of them we strong their ideology. They are thinking like, oh, my concept, my the way I'm thinking is that so dominant within the family, within their friends, their community, and then they try to pursue their concept. So because of that, even sometimes they don't understanding is right or wrong. So they try to continue. So causing multiple issues. So fundamentally, we have to go back to the thing. Who is the soul? The soul is completely entirely it's a train of thought. Every millisecond or even less than that, thoughts are rising. So maybe some of the pulse of train, like trains of thought, is like one after another. Probably one causing another one to rising, but pretty similar to thought. If you're talking about the same topic or same thing, but one after another thought is not exactly the same thought, but somewhat little different. It's like when the rain is dropping, each and every drop of the rain is different to one different to the other one, right? Yeah, it is different. Nothing is similar in this world. It's somewhat slightly different physically. I mean, if you look at it carefully. So the thought is like that. So consistently keep popping up. It's make our mind is monkey mind. If the mind is well developed, like Panakara Bhikkhu, who's the monk walked from Texas to Washington D.C. and then, like, I was really impressed with the real message what he's giving to the crowd in very big, in very different situations, out there in different weather situation, and every time if he consistently is speaking about to the mindfulness, What is mindfulness is the focusing on the thought. Whatever the thought arising, and focus on the thought, focus on the thought, focus on thought, not giving a chance to think about that thought and process the thought. But we too typically every day, day to day, we process the thought. We process, we need to process, yes, but we need to do skillfully. Whenever we need, obviously when we are living in life, if you are working, we need to obviously do 8 to 5 certain time. I mean, throughout the time what we are expecting to spending at work, or while we're driving, or when we're eating, or something. But the certain times we can intensively practice to taming the brain, in a sense, not forcefully. So there are lots of great monks and then books explaining how to do it. Anybody can do it, right? And then through that process, it's like very peaceful, very happiness. You build up lots of happiness and peace, and by yourself. And then that's spread out to the many of the other people, whoever you associating. So it's benefited to the society. That's what the Panakkara Bhikkhu was having a thought, okay, let me out of my temple, and whoever I meet, I will explain to him, or at least not maybe explaining, like just to see somebody meet and then maybe pay respect to me or whatever, say hi to me, and then that will echo or bring out the message. And the person who asking, what is the uniqueness of you? Why you so happy, or why you having that happiness? So that throughout that from that message, so he'll try to bring the true Dhamma, or true explanation about the soul or reality, about what's happening within our mind. So then a peaceful mind is the peaceful nation, right? So peaceful world, and then so many things happening with that. As I said, I mean, that benefited to even you focusing on your wealth development with modern wealth development for your physical accumulation with right work, right project, or right ambition. You can develop the wealth by focusing on your focus will be so sharp, so intense. And then actually I heard about lots of CEOs developing their mindfulness to focus on their time slots to be utilized and to use productively and consciously taking decisions. And then you can go to even in different dimensions, actually. It's like dhyana, right? Some of the people develop in dhyana, and then they can go to different dimensions. So that's what typically, that's a physical development. And plus, you can develop your spiritual journey, and which is the most important thing, to be happy by yourself. So please try that. There are techniques. One of them, inhaling meditation, in Pali called Anapana, or some other nationalities, they use abdomen, or recently I heard about Panakkara Bhikkhu. So he was saying, like, you can focus on keep the hands on your top of the heart and then feel the heartbeat. That's also, yes, anything, one object you pick, either breath, stomach, or rising, falling of the stomach, or inhaling, outhailing of the breath, or the heart feeling, the heart pulse. Either one, you focus on that, and then I think he was explaining, and other great monks also explaining, you can listen to them, and they're the best. I'm not the teacher, again. So I try to bring it to awareness. So that piece, that bring you actually, perhaps for me, when I do, I wasn't intentionally that much practicing. I mean, last time I was practicing 5 days, 2015, when I came to Ontario province. So with a great monk, Yuttadhammo Bhikkhu. Now I think he's in Kurunegala in Sri Lanka. So one of the great monks. So before that too, I was weekdays I was doing. So after 2015, I didn't have that much time to practice. But that practice, since more I practiced in 2011 to 2014, 15 around. Not every day, but weekends and so on. But at 2015, after that, I didn't have the time. But recently, I was doing somewhat, but not long hours, sort of. But what I did 10 years ago, almost now 11 years ago, I did was really benefited up until now to keep up my memories sharp. Even what I studied over every day, I improve, and keeping up my up-to-date knowledge and experience, understanding and practicing, and about what related to my work is really sharp and really deep. I can go into deep, and then intellectually about the work related is I can do it properly. And then anger is not coming easily. I mean, it's coming time to time, like, and not really intense anger, but tension or sort of thing. It's timing. It can I manage very easily. And then desire and attachment, or those things are very easy to manage. So please use these tools. It's very, very important. The soul is the most important thing what we need to be understand. And then to be truly honest, understanding that by reading the books or listening to other talks and spiritual leaders, not only Buddhism related and other related, to understand the soul itself is a thought process. As the soul will not exist in forever after you realizing the noble truth, the we call nirvana, or the true understanding of the nature of the thought and the attachment, and then why we are keep continuing, and that is the biggest ignorance and biggest stupidness. I would say it's really, really stupidness of not understanding true nature of the soul. The soul is so tricky, so it will make you into different situations, as I said before. So dealing with this thought it's a very, very important thing. So it bring you happiness, or it will bring you this total disaster and bring into jail, or you will go to hell, or you will go to the heaven-like kind of places. When you hit to the dhyana kind of status, you can hit to dhyana easily. First dhyana, samatha dhyana, or tranquility and happiness system dhyana. You can stay into the vipassana or inside the dhyana too. So what I try to emphasize here, actually, why I'm speaking in English? Oh yes, English is a common language. I mean, like, everybody can understand most of the world. So it's benefited. Yes, it's benefited to many people about understanding the soul, the thought process, and then the soul is existing for a certain long time, from life to life. Life to life mean actually one soul. Actually, we change the bodily formation, because the bodily formation existing for a certain time, because of the different reason, because the different era. The human form is existing not forever, certain numerous of years. And then when you go to the other forms, the forms also existing for a certain time. So the soul, do we need to continually exist soul? That's up to you. The true happiness comes when the soul is ceased, not existing. So then, if the soul is not existing, and then the bodily formation will never existing, and we will be totally total peace and happiness forever, then never lasting. So that is the highest achievement at any person at some point, when they truly understand this soul, and then this attachment, and then this ignorance. Ignorance is the thing we are ignoring most of the time, and we pausing, and then we are not understanding the true, the reality of the life and the soul. So if we can understand through the mindfulness, and so many teachers was explaining it, and then so that practices will help to understand the soul, and then it will be benefited for enormously. So feel free to develop that for mindfulness, and then slowly, intellectually, and by practicing understanding the soul, and then the thought process will help you throughout the life at every moment, and to you and to other people too. That's what the Pannakara Bhikkhu peace walk monk, who was walking from from Texas to all this to Washington D.C. and bring a real message. Hopefully, many of you have listened to that. So he consistently talk about that many times every day when he's giving a speech. That's the really beauty of that. Not giving many other Dhamma related talks or other things. He really tried to build up the mindfulness moment, every single moment, as much as build up your mindfulness. That's what through the mindfulness, see the happiness within you, and that happiness will spread it out to the people around you, and around the village, county, and then country, to the world and universe. So yes, and on top of that, like another important thing is, like, because of not managing the soul, I mean, managing me not forcefully, literally, by true understanding, the people really in suffering. I really feel sad. People have a big ego, and then try to be foolish enough to believe on what they believe. There's typically in a way we can say there's no right or there's no wrong. That's right and wrong. We individually, by our culture, by our way of we thinking, we build up, and then we justify it, and then we try to manipulate by ourselves. That is the worst thing what we're doing by ourselves, and then to the other people also, and then the suffering comes, and it's enormous suffering, and then so much suffering because of mainly the ideology about to exist, to keep existing, the ideology, and it's all to keep continue that, and that ideology going to their belief system to be accepted by other people, and also to be build the world system. So also, and then at the end, no happiness, and then so much suffering, and then the ego is so big, cannot listen to somebody or understand somebody or keep going with somebody, or so many intense tension within themselves, and then that goes to the society. So as well, there are different level of that thing, and some of them are very big ego. Some of them are very less. You can compare to a big mountain like stone, or to the smaller, tiny atomic level of sand, small piece of sand. Compared to that big to smaller thing, the individuals are in different level of different size of ego. Or so those who purify their mind thought process, so they become smaller, tiny thing, and then will be disappearing at the end. If it's disappearing, the soul is entirely disappeared. To the obviously need some practices, and these people are so happiest. If you notice the people among your community, those who have a less big ego or soul or the thing, these people are more flexible and more happier and then more peaceful by themselves and then to the society and the people too. So that's all about. I took a little bit, slowly I speak and slowly bring out, rather rush it out and to the people. You can comment, we can talk about it. Thank you so much for the pay attention. Awesome.